I was wearing a wedding dress waiting for Sean to come on stage. But as the ceremony was about to begin, he came on stage holding Vivian, who was dressed just like me. The MC's voice sounded, announcing that the wedding rehearsal was over and asking Miss Aria to step down and watch the ceremony. I was stunned for a few seconds and then crouched on the ground. While everyone thought I couldn't bear the shock and would cry, I pulled out a stack of bills from under my wedding dress. Then I asked Sean to quickly make up for the commissions and salaries he owed me over the years. The place was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. They were surprised that I didn't break down in tears begging for reconciliation. Sean's face, which just now was wearing a sinister smile, suddenly cracked. "Aria, stop wasting your efforts, don't try to catch my attention anymore." Saying this, he also used his hand to lift Vivian's hair and sniffed it lightly. Holding back the sour and swelling feeling at the tip of my nose, I took a deep breath. Sean must have been overwhelmed by joy, his ears aren't working well either. Then let me reiterate to Sean. Sean, please make up for the unpaid wages over these years, or I will file a labor arbitration. Brother Sean, I told you, she's just after your money. Vivian looked at me with a disdainful expression. I tore off the obstructive hem of my dress and strode forward. Miss, please get it straight, this is my hard-earned labor income, it's what I deserve. I have never been Sean's kept canary. Outside, I am the executive vice president of SY Group, working with him to revive the company and make him a rising star in the industry. Inside, I am Sean's legitimate girlfriend. I have taken care of this guy who only knew how to eat, drink, and play, and made him strong now. As I closed in step by step, she accidentally fell into Sean's arms. She was talking to Vivian, but her eyes were on Sean. You, who took over seamlessly, should thank me, your predecessor, both publicly and privately. The tree I planted allows you to comfortably enjoy the shade. Aria, enough. Stop embarrassing yourself here. Sean pinched the cup with his hand, his face showing impatience. You just want money, right? I'll have Secretary's son transfer 1 million to you later. I looked at the man I had loved for 10 years. Yesterday he was still my partner in bed, today a stranger like this. Once I take back SY Group, I'll give you a grand wedding. This was the promise he made to me on the mountaintop back then. I looked around, artificial volcano, pink roses everywhere, elegant attire and hairstyles, clinking glasses. It was indeed grand, but at a wedding held in my name, I was broken up with, and my fiancé seamlessly moved on, attempting to get married right there. What a big move. I flipped to the last page of these things in my hand and showed it to Sean. Sean deducted the benefits my mother had asked you for over the years, as well as the house I am currently living in. The total here is 22.5 million. Don't keep your eyes closed during the wedding. Open them wide and take a good look. Sean just needs to give me 20 million, and the remaining 2.5 million will be my gift to you both. He was so stunned he stood there dumbfounded. You and I are really that calculating? Sean said at the time he was afraid others would look down on me, so he planned to give me the vice president position at the wedding. To avoid being labeled as someone relying on a man, I organized every single order from these years. I planned to tell everyone at the wedding that I, Aria, had enough ability to stand shoulder to shoulder with Sean. He frowned deeply, took the list from Vivian, and the more he flipped through it, the more serious his expression became. Every entry was personally stamped and signed by him. I am grateful for the principles I have upheld, which gave me enough confidence at this moment. We were struggling back then, every penny had to be carefully budgeted. He said he wanted to put all the money under my control. Sean, I can't let you suffer losses, a 70-30 split will do. Consider those dividends as my dowry. Aria, thank you, I will never let you down. Later, a tacit understanding formed between us, for every deal closed, there would be a contract like this. I just didn't expect that life is unpredictable, and the dowry would turn into evidence for debt collection. People in the audience were pointing fingers at the two of them. Vivian rushed forward, snatched the paper from my hand, her face fierce. Aria, don't even think about using this trick to keep brother Sean. My goodness, Are there still people who think men are more important than money? Especially this woman who once left the country because the Zhou family went bankrupt. Miss Vivian, although you are the bride now, look at all this, aren't you uncomfortable? Then she turned and patted Sean on the shoulder. Sean, the white moonlight who went abroad, has returned by my side. Shouldn't I give her a grander wedding? After all, the wedding venue decoration is based on my preferences. Please, Sean, transfer the money to my account as soon as possible. Otherwise, meeting at the old lover's court will be awkward. Is this what you call loving me? Is it so hard to lower your head? Men just don't get it, making me so embarrassed. Still hesitating whether you love me or not. If you don't, remember to send the money. Ignoring the anger of those behind me, I waved goodbye. Brother, don't regret it. Sean's sister Luna said this and left. As carefree as she was at the wedding, she cried just as miserably at home. Arya, you are so handsome. My brother has really gone too far. If it weren't for you all these years. Luna is not only Sean's sister but also my best friend and bridesmaid. You did the right thing. Money isn't the most important thing for a man. I leaned by the window without saying a word. When she came up to me, she found that I was already in tears. Arya. I hugged her tightly, crying out loud. She held me in her arms, wiping away my tears with concern. She kept mumbling curses at Sean and Vivian. I knew there would be a scene at the wedding. I was just gambling. Gambling that he wouldn't treat me like this. Gambling that he wouldn't act on impulse and make a joke out of our wedding. Obviously, I lost. Fortunately, from the moment I found out about his plan, I slowly removed him from my heart. Wiping away tears, I took out my computer and continued writing the proposal. Sister, even after all this, you still work so hard for him? She didn't understand. I turned the notebook towards her. Arya, you? I nodded. This is what I've always wanted to do. It's also the cause of this farce. She was silent for a moment. I originally wanted to wait until your emotions settled before persuading you. Now I won't persuade you. It's my brother who isn't worthy of you. After clicking submit, I opened the wine in the cabinet and drank glass after glass. The alcohol numbed my nerves and surprisingly made me nostalgic for the past. The boy who kicked away the old man with ill intentions towards me ultimately couldn't overlap with the person I am now. The phone kept vibrating, with some showing concern, some gossiping, and some scolding me, like my mother, Ms. Irene. You slept with him for so many years for free, yet you couldn't even capture his heart. You're really useless. I was supposed to have no mother. At least, I didn't have one before I was 24. I grew up in an orphanage. When I was 24, Sean took me to a party where we met Ms. Irene, who had married a local small business owner. Then she began her acting, playing the role of a loving mother, starting to show concern for me. Perhaps it was a longing for family affection. I accepted this deliberate approach. Over the years, relying on my name, they have gained a lot of benefits from the Zhou family. I played it out loud, letting her speak freely. Taking advantage of the fact that their wedding didn't succeed this time, you should pull yourself together and win Sean back. I was never as good as you at charming men. Hung up the phone. Looking at the phone, I sneered, without my charm, they wouldn't be able to get married either. Don't get close to a man when he's at his lowest. When he shakes off that decadence, he'll also shake you off. Especially when the woman who leaves him is the one at his lowest. I took out my phone and applied for a 1-month leave through the system. As the HR manager, Luna quickly came over to me. Sister, where are you going? I'll go with you. Looking at the girl in front of me, I still nodded. It's good to have a relative around. The month passed quickly. I neither received any money nor any notice of dismissal. The day after my leave ended, I went to work as usual. One shouldn't be at odds with money. After all, according to the market rate, I earn 2,000 yuan a day. That widely known farce still hasn't died down. Always acting like the boss's wife, no one expected to be replaced at the wedding last minute. If I were her, I would have already slunk home, too ashamed to show my face. The one who said this was Mary. At that time, her fiancé had called off the engagement, and I was the one who took her to the groom's family to demand everything she deserved. Yeah, but Gwen is a woman who deals with business socializing, so naturally, she has a thick skin. This voice belongs to Emily. Back then, a boss tried to force her to drink, and I blocked the drinks for her, ending up getting myself sent to the hospital. Hey, the gossip about the female devil is just delicious. Who told her to be so unkind every day? The boss's wife is much better, always buying this and that for us. That's what it means to be close to employees. These two sentences were said by Dale, the apprentice I personally trained. It seems that when I'm not around, Vivian has done a great job winning people's hearts. Leaning by the office door, I listened to the gossip for a long time. Finally, when they were almost done talking, I pushed the door open and walked in. The laughter stopped abruptly, and everyone looked at each other in surprise. I glanced at the plan on Dale's desk. It's fine to enjoy the boss's gossip, but only if the work is done well. What kind of trash work is this? I threw the folder heavily on the desk and went straight to the office. The moment I opened the door, I was stunned. Dale's grimacing expression instantly changed. Arya forgot to inform you. Previously, as per Sean's instructions, your office was given to the future wife. Your workstation is now on the first floor. There's no office space on the first floor. I quickly realized where it was. It was the storage room next to the pantry. It seems Sean has firmly decided not to give me any face. Ignoring everyone's gaze, I picked up the things they had packed and went down to the first floor. Where else is there work to be done? The storage room was messy, and as soon as I opened the door, a choking dust smell hit me. Just as I put the things down, the workgroup chat started flashing, notifying that a meeting was about to start. I hurried to the elevator entrance. I pressed the button for a long time, but every elevator showed the 10th floor, and none were going down. I checked the clock, there were still 8 minutes before the meeting. I took a few deep breaths, opened the stairwell door, and started climbing the stairs. At this moment, my beloved stiletto heels became my biggest burden. Love and hate really are just matters of a moment. When I climbed up to the 10th floor, I saw that all the elevators were blocked by chairs and couldn't close their doors. No wonder the elevator never came down, this must be Sean's doing. I sneered, he really enjoys seeing me embarrassed. It's a bit tasteless for him to play such childish tricks. Well, I'll give him what he wants. Vivian sat in my seat and lifted her chin at me, looking very smug. Brother Sean, it seems your vice president is a bit embarrassed. A shadow flickered in Sean's eyes, and he quickly agreed with her words. Look at what you look like. I looked at myself. Because I climbed to the 10th floor, one heel of my high heels was broken, my collar was open, and my hair was wet and stuck to my forehead. The semi-transparent shirt, soaked with sweat, outlined the marks of my underwear. Some male colleagues were already swallowing their saliva, whispering to each other privately. Arya's figure was indeed stunning. Bang! Sean stood up and kicked over the male colleague who had just spoken. Everyone present looked at each other in confusion, they didn't know why Sean did that. He stood there stunned. He probably didn't even know what was going on himself. But I knew. Sean's possessiveness is extremely strong. Even if he chose another woman at the wedding, he wouldn't allow others to talk about me like that. I took off my shoes and walked over to him, took the suit he had placed on the back of the chair, and put it on. You. Vivian, who had just looked scared and seeking comfort, changed her expression. Why are you wearing Brother Sean's clothes? Take them off for me immediately. She stepped forward and started tearing at my clothes. After staying up all night and the intense exercise just now, I was momentarily no match for her. Even the shirt underneath was torn open by her. She tightly hugged Sean's suit to her chest and pushed me to the ground. I instinctively protected my lower abdomen. When I realized what I had done, the hand on my lower abdomen froze. It clenched into a fist. Only by digging my nails into my palm could I suppress the deep bitterness inside. Sean. She looked up at Sean, as if seeking praise. Sean silently twirled a pen in his seat. Arya, I'm a bit curious, what exactly could tear off the mask of pretense on your face? I used to love laughing and being lively too, but when I was young, it was too easy for people to see through my cards. Later, when doing business, because I showed my emotions, I was tricked. I almost ended up homeless with those two siblings. Since then, I never show my emotions to others anymore. It gradually became a habit. I looked at Sean, and he looked straight at me. Since he made a request, I definitely have to fulfill it. I directly tore open the shirt buttons. You want to see? Then look all you want. Ah. She's really shameless, baring her chest in front of so many people. As I moved, the conference room erupted. Secretary Sun covered his eyes and asked Sean what to do. He stood there stunned. I stepped forward and slapped him across the face. Sean, are you satisfied now? His expression was complicated. He told Secretary Sun to take off his coat and drape it over me. Then he held Vivian in his arms, comforting her gently. That tender and caring demeanor was exactly the same as it had been with me before. I thought I was invincible, but a dull pain still came from my chest. It's okay, what are men anyway? Getting the money quickly is the real deal. Babe, why get upset over something as outdated as yesterday's news? If you get angry, I'll feel heartbroken. Saying that, he kissed Vivian's forehead. Ugh, so pretentious. Mind your own woman and don't come to provoke me. After this ordeal, I finally understand. It's time to put away that ridiculous sense of dedication. I originally planned to finish the work on my desk before resigning. Just because of today's chaos, I've changed my mind. From now on, I'll clock in and out on time. I'll stay comfortably in my storage room and simply not work. I'm feeling good. Their hard days are coming. I, as a work model, used to take on too much work for them. Now they should learn to do their own work themselves. Recently, communication with Sean has fallen into a deadlock. He wants me to work, but I want him to pay off the previous amount first before purchasing my subsequent labor. He told me to pack up and leave, and I told him to pay me what he owes first, then give me double the salary. He was so annoyed that he laughed. He grabbed my chin, so greasy. Women asking for help should have the attitude of someone asking for a favor. Took a photo of his hand. Sean, do you want to be the legal expert in boss romance novels? Figure it out, who is really asking whom. If you don't pay me, I'll arbitrate you. Usually at this time, I would be frequently inviting clients to dinner to renew contracts. Sean is very capable and tough. But his expectations are too high, and he doesn't know how to appease clients. Rather than saying they are doing business with Sean, it's more like they are dealing with me. They all attended the wedding at that time, so they are still taking a wait-and-see attitude. After postponing the contract renewal for half a month, Sean finally lost his patience. He started putting pressure on people connected to me. For example, suppressing my stepfather's company. Ms. Irene started calling and cursing again, but I ignored her. Only when she said that she had worked hard to raise me did I correct her. No, it was the director of the orphanage, like a mother, who raised me. She then started cursing me as an ungrateful wretch. Let's cut ties, so he won't take his anger out on you anymore. Ms. Irene agreed without hesitation. Great, for this result, I should thank Sean. Arya, are you really going to be that ruthless? Oh? Here comes the benefactor. When he arrived, I was happily scrolling through videos. I sighed, realizing how foolish I was before, working so hard. The real meaning of work is to slack off. Seeing my confused eyes, he stepped forward and grabbed my chin. Woman, don't test my patience, hurry up and get those people to sign the contract. Only then did I realize what was going on. I shrugged. Sean, my abilities are limited, leave it to the future CEO's wife. I wasn't wrong, when I was socializing back then, my title was the future CEO's wife. He pointed at me with his finger, the flames in his eyes almost bursting out to burn me alive. She wouldn't do that. Stop talking nonsense and hurry up to get it done. Sean, is this how you beg? Arms crossed, calm and unhurried. He pinched the twitching corner of his forehead. What exactly do you want? Give me the money. I originally thought he would fly into a rage again this time. Unexpectedly, he only said softly, Arya, is money all we have left to talk about between us? I stood there stunned, wanting to applaud his shamelessness. Sean, unlike your fiancé, I don't have the bad habit of stealing men. He made a call to Secretary's son right in front of me. Not long after, a notification popped up on the phone showing a transfer of 20 million. Sean, the days I worked recently, you have to count them for me too. My market rate is 2,000 a day, you need to remember that. Saying this, he took out the prepared contract and started to leave. After thinking it over, I went back on it. I can't have my pay deducted for taking a month off. I haven't taken a vacation in 5 years, I deserve it. In less than a day, contracts with 20 suppliers were all signed. Everyone in the company breathed a sigh of relief. Except Vivian. She kept nagging in my ear, showing off her love. For example, Sean promised to buy her a 3-carat diamond ring, to cover the path from her home to the hotel with roses, to take her on a world tour, and to give her half the company shares. Arya, if you keep wandering around in front of brother Sean, I'll fire you. Fine, fire me then. I was too lazy to argue with her, so I directly took out the stamp from the drawer and stamped the document. Arya, stop right there. Vivian chased after me in a panic and grabbed my arm. I impatiently dealt with her and pressed her down on the chair. According to Article 87 of the Labor Contract Law, if an employer violates the provisions of this law to terminate or end a labor contract, they shall pay the worker compensation at twice the economic compensation standard stipulated in Article 47 of this law. Miss Vivian, stop being so obsessed with love. It's already 2024, don't be a legal ignoramus anymore. If you don't want me wandering around in front of Sean, then hurry up and pay me so I can leave. I gently patted her face. Seeing her look terrified yet trying to stay calm was truly amusing. I won't let you take a single cent from brother Sean, just wait and see. Thinking of the 20 million that just arrived, I almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. She pushed me, causing me to stagger, then walked away angrily. Looking at her back, I truly felt sorry for her. Relying on the empty promises made by a man as her confidence, she is destined to lose even more miserably than I do. But I'm not the type to have a savior complex. After all, she deserves it. Vivian is really beautiful and has the aura of a white moonlight. The woman who once discarded him like trash is now throwing herself into his arms. The man's pride is immensely satisfied. In the short term, Sean will give her all the glory she wants. After all, no one understands better how to flatter and kill at the same time than he does. I still left, without taking double the salary. Martin poached me because he gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. The land in East City has already been secured, this is my sincerity. I reached out my hand. Martin, looking forward to a pleasant cooperation. However, Miss Arya, I still want to boldly ask, why do you want to donate that piece of land to charity? Arya, I am a businessman, I don't give away things for free. Sean doesn't understand, don't you understand? He smiled. The enterprises of philanthropists are always more easily accepted by the world. Out of curiosity, I still asked him what he saw in me. He rubbed his fingers. Probably because you are the first woman to have defeated me. I realized it was my outstanding ability and his damn desire to conquer. I calmly submitted my resignation. Except for the people I brought up, everyone else had joy on their faces. When I handed the resignation letter to Sean, he only asked me one question: when you know the truth in the future, will you regret it? I looked at him firmly, I do not regret it. After all, that was only the truth he believed. When leaving SY Group, the sky was clear and the clouds were light. At the same time, SY Group's official website once again announced President Sean's wedding date. This time it was even more grandiose than the last. Sean is really interesting, always using his own wedding as a showpiece. The day before the wedding, Vivian proudly called me. Miss Aria, I'm very satisfied with the tree you planted. Thank you for accompanying Brother Sean for so long. I really wanted to invite you to the scene, but he wouldn't allow it. Otherwise, I would have liked to thank you in person. At that time I was busy with a major project. Hearing her words, I laughed scornfully. What do you mean? Aria, what does your laugh mean? The person on the other end seemed to be going crazy. It means nothing. Then I wish Miss Vivian a smooth wedding. How could the wedding possibly go smoothly? Vivian is still somewhat naive. As I expected, she ultimately became the biggest joke on her happiest day. Even more so than I was at the time. After all, this was a mirage carefully prepared just for her. During my event, he still somewhat considered my face and didn't invite the media. This was also his way of keeping a fallback. But this time, he invited all the media in Luching, not sparing even the street tabloids. Only Vivian, that naive and sweet girl, thought this was a sign of his deep love for her. While Martin and I were having a meeting to discuss follow-up matters, the news was live broadcasting this huge joke. Martin glanced at the TV and then at me. Before he could speak, I quickly turned on the TV. What's so interesting to watch? Martin's company soon secured the Jing brand project. My original team and I were indispensable to this success. I left, and the person I had personally promoted later left as well. The reason was simple: Sean had brought it on himself. Vivian arranged a large number of her own relatives into the company. They constantly undermined and marginalized the original core team members like us. She thought I, who was promoted to vice president by relying on a man, was so capable. This overseas-educated rich young lady was even more formidable. Thanks to her, they left in a hurry. No one mentioned the need to sign a non-compete agreement. A fine horse is easy to find, but a good judge of horses is hard to come by. Now that we have Martin, a good judge of horses in this era, he must be properly arranged. Xiao Group held a grand celebration banquet, inviting all the notable figures in Luching, including Sean. Thus, the current situation arose. I raised my glass to toast Sean. Thank you, Sean, for your generosity. Sean's face was darker than the night outside the window, forcing a smile. Martin, as always, liked to grab things and pick up second-hand junk. A playful smile hung at the corner of Martin's mouth. I looked at Sean with sympathy, his eyes were full of confusion. But soon he understood. Martin slightly parted his lips, raised his glass in a toast, and slowly uttered a few words. Sean, you said it wrong, you and I would never accept it. Bang, the sound of a wine glass shattering on the ground. Martin, you. Martin blocked my curious gaze with his hand, draped his suit jacket over me, and held me as he walked toward the door. Since then, Sean went mad targeting the Xiao Group. No matter what project we participated in bidding for, he would outbid us by 1 million. For a time, he was dazzlingly successful, becoming a frequent figure in local financial news. Crossing his arms, watching Sean being interviewed by reporters. Sean, it is said that SY Group was actually supported by you and Aria from the Xiao family together. Now that Aria has switched jobs, what impact does it have on SY Group? You are mistaken. The glory SY Group had back then was only because she was my girlfriend. The Jingzihao project back then. He waved his hand to interrupt the reporter's question, saying it was just a coincidence. He suddenly faced the screen directly. Aria, if you beg me, I'll give you a chance to return to SY Group. I showed a slight smile. Sean, who is begging whom is still uncertain. When the outside world started saying Martin was blind, spending big money to poach a woman who rose by relying on a man, I took action. After all, I want my boss to feel that his money was well spent. They probably all forgot that the investment department of SY Group used to be under my control, and all the qualifications were approved by me. The sharp eye was not Sean's, but mine. Sean's biggest flaw is his arrogance and strong desire to win. To make us suffer, he will definitely stop at nothing. Under our operations, he has already bought several good pieces of land. Arya, SY Group is something you built with your own hands, can you really bear it? I raised my hand to interrupt what the assistant was about to say. There is no place for such feminine kindness in the business world. Arya, you are still a woman after all, and your nature is inevitably a bit soft. This was what Sean said to me back then. There really should be no feminine kindness in business. If someone strikes first, anyone who doesn't fight back is a fool. Before long, those pieces of land successively went bankrupt. SY Group's market value evaporated by 200 million. Only the land in Dongqing steadily increased. Woken up in the middle of the night by the phone ringing. Groggily answered the call. Arya, it's been so long. Is it that hard for you to lower your head? Suddenly awake, it was Sean's voice. Sean got drunk and threw a tantrum, then went to find your fiancé. Oh, I forgot. You don't have a fiancé anymore. After saying that, I was about to hang up. Arya, wait. Don't hang up yet. TSK, why is this person so fond of disturbing others' peaceful dreams? He babbled on the phone, saying he just wanted to take revenge on Vivian, saying he just wanted me to lower my head. The only person I have ever wanted to marry from beginning to end is you, I know. I interrupted him before he could continue speaking. He was clearly stunned on the other side. You know, then why do you still? Sean, if you have something, let's meet at the mall. My conciliatory approach won't work here. After a long time, neither side said a word. Only the heavy breathing from both ends. I hung up the phone and added this number to the blacklist. It was precisely because I knew that I left him without hesitation. 1 month before our wedding. Sister-in-law, Sean drank too much, can you come pick him up? I turned my stiff neck, looked at the phone showing 12:10 a.m. Resigned, sighed, grabbed my bag, and drove to the bar location. Recently, Sean has been giving me the cold shoulder because we have disagreements over decisions. Ted is his brother. He called me probably as a way for Sean to give me a way out. After all the fuss, thinking about the contents on the paper in the bag, our relationship needs to ease up a bit. When I was about to push the door open, I heard Sean's voice. We're about to get married, yet she's still so stubborn. She needs to be taught a lesson. Sean is right, the sister-in-law is also stubborn, refusing to make money and instead building an orphanage. Women need to learn to soften and focus on the family. I withdrew my hand from the door. I leaned against the doorframe, listening to the heated discussion inside about how to teach me a lesson. Sean, isn't Vivian going back to the country soon? Ted said excitedly, and the surroundings fell silent. Sean snorted coldly, your sister-in-law will always be Arya, but you did choose a good candidate. He plans to use a wedding to force me to bow my head and embarrass the woman who dumped him. Later on, a girl sat in his arms, holding him and laughing sweetly. He lifted the girl's chin. Her emotions were as calm as a stagnant pool, yet baby, you are so lively. I really look forward to seeing her mask crumble live. With that, he kissed her. I turned my head and left. I parked the car by the roadside and cried for a long, long time. It felt like I had almost cried all the tears of my life. I felt like I was pulled out of the water, utterly exhausted. On my way home driving, Ted called me again. Hey, sister-in-law, have you come to pick up Sean yet? Oh, I'm a bit busy right now, you guys just send him back later. I heard the sound of a bottle smashing on the ground on the other end, along with a few muffled curses. Back home, I opened the safe and put the IOU he gave me at the very beginning into the documents I had prepared. When I was drifting off to sleep, Sean came back reeking of alcohol. He clicked his tongue. I understand, he was expressing how I didn't warm the hangover soup for him properly or prepare the bath water. He turned over and continued sleeping. After a long time, I felt the other side of the bed sink. He reached out, wanting to hold me in his arms. I pretended to have a nightmare, punching and kicking at the air. Later, there was the sound of a heavy door slamming shut as he left. Tears once again fell down my cheeks into my hair. The disagreement over using the wedding as a game. It was just that he wanted to build an entertainment club in the North City, while I wanted to build an orphanage in the East City. When I enthusiastically brought the research data and proposal to him, his cold words tore my heart apart. Arya, don't be reckless. Merchants seek profit. What charity are you doing? You can't insist on investing funds in the construction of the orphanage just because you once stayed there. A chill rises from the heart. I look at the man before me, familiar yet strange. He has finally grown into a qualified businessman, completely different from the boy he once was. When we secured our first order back then, Sean and I hugged and cried on the mountaintop, drinking until we were drunk. At the moment of sunrise, Sean shouted to the sky, "I will definitely bring back the SY group." His eyes were full of hope for the future, then he turned to me with a lingering gaze. Then give my Arya a grand wedding. I looked at him for a long time without speaking. He stepped forward and touched my face. Arya, what about you? I nestled on his shoulder. My wish was simply to wish you success. No, you have to make a wish that's uniquely yours. Then I wish to open the largest local orphanage as soon as possible. And to grow old together with the one I love. I didn't say the latter part out loud, looking at him gently and firmly. He patted my head. Then I want to build many orphanages in the future, so that those poor children can all feel the warmth of a home. I also wish for our little friend Arya to become the king of children soon. The soft light of the rising sun gently shone on this ambitious young boy. The fine fuzz on his face gleamed brightly. Though the boy is no longer here, I am about to fulfill my dream soon. The first thing I did after resigning was to put that small house up for sale online. Today, I finally received a call from the agent, notifying me to hand over the house. I came back to the old house again. This place holds too many memories for us. 5 years ago, the chairman of SY Group and his wife suddenly died in a car accident. SY Group was taken over by his uncle. Vivian, who had been childhood sweethearts with him, also used the excuse of breaking up to go abroad for studies. Little Nanny, Luna, and I, just like you, are orphans. When I was 18, he took me home and gave me a place of refuge. So when I was 22, I brought Sean and Luna, who had been kicked out, back to my rental apartment. Watching Sean get drunk every day, I took out the property deed given to me by the director's mother. I handed the card to him. Sean, pull yourself together. He raised his hand and knocked it over. Little Nanny, do you know? Without it, everything is gone. What use is this card to you? I picked the card up from the ground and stuffed it into his hand. He threw it out again, and I kept picking it up. After repeating this several times, he seemed to get angry and directly threw the card into the thorn bushes downstairs. Get out of here. He kicked me out of the room. I didn't pay attention to him, comforted Luna who was sobbing uncontrollably, and went straight downstairs. The thorns tore my arms and forearms. I was too excited the moment I found the bank card. I bent down suddenly to pick it up and accidentally scratched my face. When I, ragged and covered in wounds, handed the bank card to Sean, he was stunned. He touched his dirty face with his hand and smiled, saying to him, Sean, you have Luna, you have me, and now you have money. He held me and cried out loud. Arya, from now on, we will strive together. That was the first time he looked me in the eyes and called my name. He took me to the hospital with the only 100 yuan he had. But good medicine was too expensive, and a shallow scar remained on my face. We did market analysis, discussed orders, and drafted contracts in this small house. Step by step, we grew. When Sean took back SY Group, and we moved from this small house back to the Zhou residence. I spent money to buy it, and nothing had been moved since then. The memories abruptly stopped. I took one last look at the house and handed the keys to the new tenant. After having dinner with Martin, he saw me off downstairs in the community. A bit of redness flickered faintly in the darkness. I covered my nose, clenched the bag in my hand, and planned to walk quickly past. As I passed that person, my wrist was grabbed forcefully. I screamed in fright. Soon my mouth was covered. "Arya, don't scream, it's me." Looking closely at the visitor, it was Sean. He was scruffy, no longer the confident figure from the financial news before. "Why is Martin seeing you home?" I calmed myself and signaled him to let go. "Sean, whoever sees me home now has nothing to do with you." "Arya, what do you mean?" I gave him a look for him to figure it out himself. I struggled hard a few times but couldn't break free. "Can't you just bear the loneliness? So soon you found yourself a man?" I looked at the man in front of me, who seemed crazed. I realized I might have never truly known him. "Sean, am I really that kind of person in your heart?" I suddenly burst out laughing. It was really funny. I stood by him and built everything from scratch, turning him from a mess into the Sean he is now. He doesn't remember my hardships, only cares about whether I have been unfaithful to him. I want to say yes, but unfortunately, I really haven't. There's never been a moment I hated myself for being so useless more than now. Laughing, tears uncontrollably streamed down. Seeing me like this, he was terrified. Like a child who had done something wrong, helpless and at a loss. His hands trembled as he tried to wipe away my tears. I dodged his hands and wiped my tears with the back of my hand. "Sean, I am valuable. Others recognize my abilities too. I was cheap in front of you because I loved you before, not because I was shameless." He closed his eyes, as if making a final struggle. "Arya, without you by my side, I am really tired. Will you come back to me?" I stood still looking at him, not saying a word. He leaned against the wall, sat on the ground, hugging his knees with both hands. "Today I went to the old house. When I knocked on the door and heard the sound of it opening from inside, I was very excited. I wanted to tell you I was wrong the moment you opened the door. To tell you that as long as you come back to me, I am willing to do anything." But when I looked up full of hope, I saw a strange girl. She smiled sweetly and asked who I was looking for. At that moment, I was terrified. I hoped she was just a temporary friend of yours. But she told me she was the new owner of the house. I realized I was really going to lose you. Both he and I clearly understand the significance of the old house. I sighed deeply and sat down next to him. "Sean, I don't regret being with you back then. But our goals have changed. The road must be walked separately. So you aborted that child, didn't you?" Mentioning that child, tears involuntarily welled up again. The only sacrifice in this relationship was that unborn child. I understand it was Luna who told him. "I gave you a chance, but you insisted on doing it that way." When he heard my answer, he started slapping himself desperately, crying as he did. He wanted to open his mouth to ask me why I didn't tell him, but he had no face to do so. He lit another cigarette and took a few deep drags. "Arya, I know you hate me, I will." "I don't hate you." I interrupted what he was about to say, looking at him seriously. "Sean, I don't hate you. If there's no love, then where would hate come from?" He threw down the cigarette butt and held me tightly in his arms. Tears ran down his face into my neck. "No, no, no. Arya, no. You hate me, you have to hate me, you should hate me. Please hate me." I just stood there, letting him hold me and cry. I didn't gently pat his back to comfort him like before. His hands dropped limply, leaning against the stair railing, his bloodshot eyes staring at me. "So we really can't go back, can we?" I didn't respond to him, stood up, and went upstairs. On the balcony, I watched a figure stagger away. I wiped away the physiological tears and threw the tissue into the trash can. I don't want the child, and I certainly don't want the man. The company reception has recently been receiving many thermos flasks specifically sent to me. They are all filled with nourishing soups. No matter how many times I refuse to accept them, they still get delivered rain or shine the next day. "Luna, tell your brother to stop sending the soup." I didn't go directly to Sean because I knew he wouldn't listen. So I went straight to Luna. Sean has a very strong ego, and this approach would definitely frustrate him. Sure enough, no more health soups were sent afterward. He seemed to have disappeared. The shaky SY group underwent a major reshuffle in the end, but it was saved. It just never regained its former glory. Later, I got married. No surprises, it was with Martin. He's a very good partner. When I was the deputy general manager at Sean's, no matter how capable I was, others thought I relied on a man. But with Martin, I was respected and my value was recognized. Even after getting married, they still called me Aria, not Mrs. There was no passionate love, only a simple and comfortable fit. As the eldest son of the Shao family, he needed a wife with good reputation and strong means. And I happened to be suitable. On the wedding day, my bridesmaid was still Luna. She took out a check for me. Aria, my brother said this is his wedding gift to you. I accepted it with a smile. This money will be dedicated to the construction of the orphanage, but still in Sean's name. Consider it a way to give an explanation to the young man from back then. When I was 6 months pregnant and went for a prenatal checkup, an unexpected incident happened. Just after finishing the checkup and stepping outside, I caught a glimpse of a flash of cold light. It was Vivian, holding a dagger and rushing towards my belly. The sudden turn of events left me stunned on the spot. The bodyguard was too far away to react in time. I was so scared that I closed my eyes. The sound of the dagger piercing flesh was heard, but I didn't feel any pain at all. Amid the shocked cries of the crowd around, Vivian was subdued, and the person standing in front of me slowly fell down. Only then did I see clearly, it was Sean. His hand reached towards my swollen belly, murmuring the word child, child. At that moment, I truly felt relieved. Luna said that every time I went for a prenatal checkup, Sean would always follow me, as if trying to make up for some regret. At the end, she would also touch my belly and say, "Sister, will the baby from before blame me?" That month I took off was when Luna stayed with me for the surgery and took care of me during my postpartum confinement. I tapped her forehead and said, "Silly girl, no, you will always be my child's aunt. The baby should be born into a harmonious family with loving parents and grow up surrounded by love." She nodded somewhat understandingly. "Aren't you really going to see my brother?" I shook my head with a smile. Sean is not in life-threatening condition, the knife wound wasn't deep, and once the bleeding stopped, it was nothing serious. Wife. Are you okay?" I looked at Martin running over and wiped the sweat off his forehead with a tissue. "Why were you in such a hurry?" When the bodyguard called me, my heart almost stopped. Luckily, everything is fine. He held me tightly in his arms. You see, I already have someone who holds me dear in their heart. What should be left behind, let it be left behind. Martin's perspective. My wife didn't come easily, thanks to the opponent who handed her over. When I found out that bastard Sean was going to marry another woman at the wedding, I almost wanted to knock him down. My chance had come. My wife asked me if I would do a wedding rehearsal. Oh my God, no way. I was so scared that I immediately cancelled all the wedding rehearsals. My wife was so angry that she beat me up overnight. Boo-hoo, I finally got scolded by my wife. Having a wife feels so good. Boo-hoo, today I accidentally saw the chat history between my wife and Luna. I thought my relationship with my wife was love. Unexpectedly, my wife thinks we're just compatible. Oh well, as long as my wife is by my side, I'll twist myself into being compatible even if I'm not.